this process didn't start in January. I found that out yesterday. City staff told me that this particular process started about 8 months before that, when a citizen came forward and said, what if I gave you $10 million? Could we get this going? He then subsequently pulled out, and we kept going. In January, a couple of citizens met with city staff and said, we want this to happen, let's make it happen. That's all it took to get this rolling again, was a meeting in January. I have on good authority that in that meeting, those citizens were told it would take 4 years to put a plan like this together. A consultant was hired. MoCA was hired. In fact, if you want to go watch that, you can watch the meeting in March where that consultant was hired. You can also watch on SSN channel in May when that consultant held a meeting at Larson, and he said, we are very early in this process. I don't believe 81% of people in that meeting said they were in favor of a property tax. The 81% number comes from a citizens committee meeting. I actually used it in a previous discussion because I said, look, our citizens committee was a little biased. One of the members of the citizen committee actually talked to me and said we weren't biased, we didn't know the cost at the time that survey was given. So yeah, of course we'll pay a property tax, no big deal. They didn't know the cost. So in May, this consultant that we paid $80,000 said, we're so early in the process, we have a calculator, let's see how far you're willing to go. He brought the calculator up to $60 million and they rolled it back down a little bit. In June, we had another meeting. Citizens made comments, no input was taken. By August, we had a city council vote to put this proposal, not this proposal, to put a proposal on the ballot. We were looking at a 124,000 square foot building that was supposedly saving us space. We are now looking at a 140,000 square foot building. That change happened since this was put on the ballot. I don't know if they're cutting into their 10%. I don't know where the extra money for that's coming from. I'm sure Scott does. So we went from May, we don't know what we're doing, June, we think we're doing this. That was actually when they dropped the city buildings and said, yeah, we cut the price. We dropped the city buildings off. Don't worry. You know, in May they said, this is a need. We absolutely need new city buildings. By June, we don't need them so much anymore. I don't think it's going to hold for 20 years. I think they're going to come and ask for them again. August, we put it on a vote. September, there was a public hearing. We got to give input. It was already being voted on. In September, we got to have a public hearing. At that hearing, they changed the plans again. They added a field house. They're not quite ready yet. This process has not been sufficient. It's still changing. As of Thursday, when we talked with City, they said, we'll get you the new numbers. We'll get you the new cost per square foot. This project is still changing. The process is not done, and we need more time. We deserve more.
Great. I've been on the Library Citizens Committee in the past, and we've been asking for 8 and 10 years, when are we going to get a new library? This is not a process that has been happening for 1 year. My personal experience with the process is that I saw and kept track of a woman on the committee who posted on the community Facebook page about the ongoing process, and she asked for comments and opinions on various issues from the community. Did any of you comment on it? I certainly did, because I kept track.
The library, 2010, the city master plan. Read about it in the Deseret News. Those articles hang around. The library was being planned. We bought property for it. It's there. I agree the library is being planned. I agree with that. This rec center, life center combination duo was not. The process has clearly not been sufficient, or we wouldn't be making changes to the plan months after it was already put up for a vote. As a citizen who has been involved in just trying to find out what the facts are, I'm not interested in far left and far right. I just want to know what this thing is. It has been ridiculously hard to know what it is we're talking about. Is it a 16,000 square foot library? It is if you look at the first draft. If you go to a city meeting, you're told it's a 30,000 square foot library. The next meeting, the city came back and said, oh, no, that was a mistake. It's an 18,000 square foot library.